What's up, guys? It's Matt from Team Divine Pro, otherwise known as Viewtiful Linker Joe, VLJ for short, and I'm bringing you yet another deck profile of the game Weiss Schwarz, and this time it's going to be on my favorite anime, my favorite deck of the game of all time, Accel World. If you couldn't guess from the sleeves, Kuryuki Hime is in fact my waifu, so I adore these sleeves. Anyway, when I was first introduced to the game of Weiss Schwarz, I didn't know what the game was about. I didn't even know that it was anime based, so I just picked the deck at random and I picked Accel World. And I picked Accel World because it sounded interesting. That was the anime that I started watching. As soon as I watched it, I fell in love with it, so now this is like my favorite deck, and Accel World is my favorite anime. This deck is missing 4 cards in its entirety. I want to thank Tony, the other member of Team Divine Pro, for helping me get the cards that I was missing. And I'm going to see if I can get those other cards that I need so that the deck can be finished. I also want to thank my other friend Anthony for getting me these sleeves at Anime Expo, because they are so pretty. And then the gold trim over sleeves, but yeah. I'm going to stop my rambling and my nerdgasm and go into the deck profile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the climaxes and work up. So climaxes level 0, 1, 2, and 3. So in this Accel World variant, it's going to be a little bit more sort of, I guess you can say, meta. A lot of Accel World decks are running yellow-red or yellow-red-green, yellow-red-blue. This one is going to be yellow-red with some green support, but primarily yellow-red. So for that, for the first thing we have 3 of the red gate climax. It's plus 1,000 plus 1 soul on play, and then if it's checked, you get to salvage 1 character in your waiting room. This has a climax combo with level 1 in the deck. I'll get to that when we get to that character. The last climax we have is 4 of the spin. This one is called Judgment Blow, by the way, and this one is called Death by Piercing. This is just plus 1,000 plus 1 soul, and it spins, so you get to return a character from their stage to their hand. So pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to comprehend. Both 1,000, 1 soul, and they're just generic. So the deck is going to be based off around, since red salvages, it's going to salvage a lot. So you're going to see that a lot in this deck. Now, onto level 0s. Let's start off with this one here. We have Chiyu, Childhood Friend Caretaker. This one comes from the trial deck. It was kind of hard for me to get because not a lot of my friends or myself had the trial deck, so this one was a little tricky. Plus Accel World's not really much in print anymore. It's not very much, I don't know. Enough of my rambling. What you do is you can rest 2 of your net and or avatar characters, choose 1 of your characters, and that gets plus 15 for the rest of this turn. So you can rest her and 1 other character, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, she's net, so you can rest her and then 1 other character. So it's not bad. It's meant for boost. Next, we have 2 Black Lotus encountering nearby duels. What this does when it's placed on stage, pay 1 stock, discard 1 card from your hand, add 1 character with net or avatar, and add it to your hand. So this is just basically your searcher. You 1 for 1 for this, and it's just going to basically help to thin out the deck. Next, we have 2 of the Brainstormer. Skyraker living as Hermit. I see Brainstorming as an offensive and defensive play. Offensive to help gain the advantage of whatever the Brainstormer does, and defensive because for every Brainstormer you have to send the top 4 of your library to waiting room. I see that as 4 damage that you potentially don't have to take and have a better chance of climaxing when it comes to your opponent's turn. What this one does is it gives 500 to the center stage, the center. So if you have these 3 open, it only gives 500 to the one in the center. Next, its Brainstorm ability is pay 1, rest this, reveal the top 4 of your library. For every climax revealed by this effect, you get to draw that many cards. So this actually helps replenish your hand depending on how many climax you are able to reveal. But it's also a good card to play so that you can take less damage and set up your waiting room for all the amount of salvaging that goes on in this deck. So this is a really good plus card. And this was incredibly hard to get, for me at least. Next, we have 3 of the Chiyu Carefree Talk, and this one is the SR Rare. Thank you, Tony, once again. This one has the assist, gives 500 to the characters in front of it. And then what you can do with this one, it has the Accelerate ability. If you don't already know, Accel World has the gimmick of Accelerate, which means you put the top card of your library to clock to activate a certain effect. What this one does is you put the top card of library to clock. At the start of the climax phase, you can pay the cost, choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus 1500 at the start of the battle. So what you can do is, with the basic combo, is have these two in the backstage, use this effect, rest these two, give some character plus 1500, then use this character skill to burn yourself one, give another character plus 1500. So now you have two beefy monsters on the board. So that's one basic power combo that you can do, but in actuality, when are you actually going to have a chance to do that? So, but that's just one thing that you can do. Feel free to take it at heart or not. It's up to you to run the deck however you want. Next, we have 3 of the level 0 Suicider. Her name is Nico, Cute Second Cousin. Basically, her first effect is if you activate an S ability, which is just one of those activate abilities when they're played on field, you can choose one other character and it gets 500 for the turn. And then its second effect, which is what you're most content about, is the suicide effect. So if it attacks at level 0 and it reverses the opponent as well. So I only run 3. I'm testing this build so far. It's okay. But if you guys have any suggestions, feel free, let me know. And lastly, we have 4 of the beautiful girl, Kuriyuki Hime, otherwise known as my waifu. This was cool when I pulled it, the SR Rare. I was like extremely happy that this was an alternate art. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Anyway, if you have... I'm sorry, hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, if you have one or few other characters, that's getting to 15, so it becomes 35. And then if it attacks, you can choose all other characters and give it 1,000. Let me double check here because I could be giving you false information. I have my laptop here off to the side just so that I don't fuck up. Because, you know, people have a tendency to screw up things. Because I've screwed up a few in the past, so I don't want to give you guys the wrong impression or whatever. If you have one or fewer other characters, this gains plus 15, like I said, and then when this attacks, choose one of your other level 2 or higher characters, and that gets 1,000. So, this is essentially going to be your level 1 game. Sorry about that. Alright, that wraps up the level 0s. Sorry for my stalling there for a little bit. Moving on to level 1s. Real quick, we have 2 of the level 1 backup. Aqua Current, this has no cost. All you have to do is drop it, give a level 1 or lower plus 15. Next, we have 2 of Kuriyuki Hime, Promise at Dusk. I like alternate arts. I like both of them, so I put one of each. This one is Hand Encore. You can discard a card from your hand at Encore step and then bring it back. And then its other effect is on my turn it gets 1,000, so it becomes 7. Next, we have 4 Red Scarlet Rain Berserking at Friend or something like that. Let me double check its name. I have it here. Scarlet Rain Berserking of Dear Friend. Okay, this one is the climax combo that I was talking about. So, when this card attacks, and you have Judgment Blow in the climax zone, you can pay the cost of 1 stock to salvage 1 character from your waiting room to your hand, which is not bad. It was actually really good. I think a lot of other decks have this same ability. So, this is basically one of the level 1s that you want to go for early game, or late game, depending on how the game goes. Next, we have... Oh, that must be it. After that, we have 4 of Unico Heart Beating in Bathtub. This one is your level 1 beater and essentially your level 1 game. When it's placed on stage, she activates her effect immediately, which is send the top 2 cards of library to waiting room. If any of those 2 cards were climax, you must rest her. So you gotta hope to not hit that climax, which would also help with the Brainstormer, which will help prevent the cards that you'll hit for the climax. So this is essentially 6-5 beater. In no sense would you ever hit climax with this, or at least that's the plan. That wraps up level 1s. Moving on to level 2s. Very little level 2s here. You run one of the level 2 backup, Leopard and Nico, sorry. Basically pay 1, give a level 2 or lower plus 3,000. You only play 1 because there's so much salvaging in the deck that this is really easy to grab again. Once you use it, and then put it in waiting room, recycle it, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's so much you can do with this one. Next, you have the 1 copy of, let me see here, Nico, Good at Cooking. Basically, it's an assist. All characters in front of it gain plus 500 power times its level. So if it's a level 2, it gets an 1,000, or if it's a level 1, 500, so on and so forth. Its second ability is when this is placed on stage, pay the cost of 1 stock. You can choose 1 other character, and it gets the following effect. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, choose a card in your opponent's waiting room and put it to the top of the library. So you can stack your opponent's deck to your liking depending on what they play. You can purposely put the climax on top of the deck so that they cancel a certain attack based on how they're playing, based on what their style of deck is, or you can put up that top one so you can guarantee that they're not going to cancel the attack. So I only play 1. So like I said, I'm testing out the build, so we won't know how this one does until more play happens. Next, we have 2 of Real Strength Kuryuki Hime. This has a change ability. Its first ability, first off, is you can rest her, and you can give another character 1,500. So just rest her, give something 1,500, so you can put her in the backstage and have no problem. Because what you usually do is tap her, give something 1,500. The change ability happens at Encore step rather than a lot of cards activating before the climax phase. So during the Encore step, you change, pay 2, you have 2 targets for this card. You can change into the Black Lotus, or you can change into Kuryuki Hime. And just because I have them out, I'm going to tell you what they do. The first one is this can only, when this is placed on stage by a change ability, you can, hold on. I hate when I do that. Sorry. Alright, when it's placed on stage from change, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. Sorry, I almost forgot what her effect did. And then her second effect is Accelerate. Place the top card of Library to clock. Choose a level 3 or lower character on your opponent's side of the field and return it to their hand so it bounces a card. Just be careful what you bounce, because I accidentally bounced an opponent's healer, and that was a bad idea. Alright? This one is when it's placed on stage by change or anything, this heals 1 on summon. So you get to heal 1 damage no matter what. And then it has a second effect, which is a climax combo, which I do not play. I used to play, and it was never at all playable, so I don't use it anymore. So those are the level 3s that you can change using Real Strength. Lastly, moving on to 2 Kriken, Strongest Name. Basically what this one does, it's your beater. Whenever your other net or avatar character attack, this gets an additional 1,000, so this becomes 9. Depending on the other boosts and other power boosts that your cards give, this could be really, really big. So it becomes really hard to cancel an attack or backup for your opponent. So that wraps up level 2s. I already showed you half of the level 3s, and this is all that's remaining. I am using these as space fillers because these are the cards that I'm actually missing. So I'm using 4 of the Good at Cooking. This is supposed to be the level 3 red Unico Kuzuki, and I could be pronouncing that wrong because I am not Japanese. Basically, its first effect is heal on summon. When it's placed on stage to hand, you heal 1. Next, its second effect is you pay 3 on its attack. Let me rephrase. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. When this card attacks, you can pay the cost of 3 stock, and you can burn your opponent for 1. And yes, the damage is cancelable. So, you attack, you're guaranteed to do at least 1 damage. So if they cancel, no big deal, you just burn them for 1. So you're just going to constantly burn them. No big deal. So that wraps up the deck. Sorry for the times where I was stalling to get these things right. I want to be sure to give you guys all the correct information so that I'm not straying you wrong, or so that you guys know exactly what's going on, because I know in the 1 or 2 videos I messed up on the card effects and gave you wrong information, so sorry about that. But that is the Accel World deck. This is definitely going to be more sort of like meta based, because a lot of the decks in Japan that are Accel World have been using red, yellow, green, or red, yellow, blue. So hopefully this is going to be more consistent than the deck that I had before, which is almost entirely yellow. And if you've seen my previous video of this deck profile on my other channel, Viewtiful Linker Joe, then you'll understand what that deck was supposed to do. So I hope you guys like the deck. If you guys want to see something else or other content that I try and put out, I'm going to try and put out more fights for Vanguard, Buddy Fight, and Weiss. So we'll see what happens within the next couple weeks, months, or so on and so forth. I've been busy with work, school, and a bunch of other stuff, and all of us have on the channel. So don't expect us to pump out videos every single day. Everyone has their lives to deal with, you know? So hope you guys enjoyed the profile. This is Viewtiful Linker Joe signing off. And remember, keep calm and henshin a go-go, baby.